Welcome back to Comic Cappers. Today we're diving into the absolute universe where the stakes have never been higher. Batman is taking the fight directly to the streets, and this cover art sets the tone perfectly. A brutal, tactical confrontation that proves this Dark Knight isn't playing by anyone's rules. Let's see what happens when the absolute Batman goes all in. We open on a heart-wrenching moment. A young boy desperately pleads with his father to open a door, but the man remains slumped and unresponsive on the other side. Suddenly, the boy looks up, startled by an unseen disturbance that breaks his focus. An aggressive, feral bat lunges into the frame with a piercing shriek, signaling an immediate shift from emotional drama to pure primal terror. The creature strikes, latching onto the boy's back as the atmosphere turns chaotic. It's not just one, a swarm begins to coalesce, creating a jagged, nightmarish silhouette against the light. The swarm descends in full force, overwhelming the boy as he cowers in the doorway. We close on a tight, terrified close-up of the boy's eye, reflecting the encroaching darkness of the swarm. We're diving deeper into the absolute universe, and this splash page sets the tone for our second chapter, titled The Zoo. It's a striking, visceral image that captures the chaotic, animalistic nature of the threat Batman is up against. The bats here represent the swarm, the overwhelming, relentless force of the party animals that our hero is currently fighting back against in the shadows of Gotham. The war for Gotham is reaching a boiling point. Over the next 2 weeks, the party animals escalate their offensive across the city, leaving chaos in their wake. In response, Batman takes the fight directly to them. He's not just holding the line, he's dismantling their operations with brutal, surgical precision. He's everywhere, or at least it feels that way. Batman somehow anticipates their major strikes, intercepting them before they can dig in. Tonight, that means a high-stakes showdown at the Gotham Aquarium. He tears through their ranks, silencing them one by one. It's a masterclass in tactical aggression, but he isn't entirely alone. Our mysterious narrator is watching, providing digital cover and surveillance protections. It's a cold, calculated arrangement. The more Batman disrupts Roman Sionis' plans, the more data our narrator gathers, all in the hopes of finally escaping the city for good. Our narrator, a former Special Forces operator, watches from the shadows as Batman is swarmed by Roman Sionis' party animals. It's a brutal scene. These thugs aren't just street-level criminals anymore, they're a small, coordinated militia. As Batman holds his ground, the narrator reflects on his own military past, noting that any smart leader knows when to retreat, yet he watches Batman continue to push forward into the chaos. The narrator keeps his tactical perspective clinical, noting the abbreviation for the cycles of advance forward and retreat and regroup as he observes the cycle of violence. Despite the overwhelming numbers, the narrator admits he keeps expecting Batman to pull back, but the Dark Knight never does. We see Batman strike with precision, pinning his enemies against the aquarium glass with a heavy metallic impact. Batman lets out a defiant roar, signaling that he isn't just surviving this fight, he's dictating the terms of it. With a massive SPOOSH, Batman executes a calculated maneuver, using the environment of the aquarium to his advantage. He's not just brawling, he's orchestrating every move, proving to the narrator that he understands Gotham's obsession with its own wildlife, and uses every tool, every shadow, and every distraction to stay ahead of the game. Batman is truly a master of the environment. While the party animals wade through the aquarium, he hangs above them like a predator, waiting for the perfect moment to turn their own surroundings against them. With a simple, calculated flick of his wrist, he drops a small chemical device into the water. It's a brutal bit of science. He's using a concentrated vinegar compound to transform the aquarium's salt water into burning hydrochloric acid. The effect is immediate and horrific. The thugs are sent scrambling out of the tank in pure agony, their screams echoing as the acid takes hold. Watching from the safety of his monitors, our narrator allows himself a grim, satisfied chuckle. He notes that Batman has multiple hidden bases, caves scattered across the city, though he's only managed to track a few of them. However, by mapping the bat's movements, the narrator has finally calculated the potential locations of the rest, and the realization of what he's found hits him hard. As the narrator stares at his screen in disbelief, Batman disappears into the shadows, slipping down into the dark, hidden depths of the city. Our narrator, the tactical analyst, is tracking the patterns of the Batman across Gotham, noting that he's certainly committed to the bit. We see Bruce Wayne maintaining a monastically tight routine when he isn't in the suit. He works, then vanishes, fueling rumors of Red Hood connections, but the reality is colder. He's a man alone, even distancing himself from his own mother. His discipline is absolute, save for one deviation that leaves our observer stunned. It's a quiet, ominous beat, a security camera watching the perimeter of Blackgate Penitentiary. Batman has come to visit Joseph Chill, the man who murdered his father. Though the narrator can't hear the conversation, he can imagine the weight of it and admits he only respects Batman more for making the trip. but the oversight ends here. The narrator's handler orders him to drop all protections on Batman, citing him as a volatile factor. He contemplates fighting the order, knowing Batman's actions have been vital to his own mission. He realizes Batman's provocations have actually helped him map out Sionis' network, yet he ultimately complies and removes the protections. With the safety net gone, the party animals immediately track Batman to his high-rise hideouts. The narrator tries to visualize Bruce's final realization as he sees the trap closing in. He gets the brutal message, retreat and regroup, Batman, R@R, as the henchmen swarm his position. Things escalate instantly as a massive explosion rips through the Gotham skyline. The party animals are pushing the city to its breaking point. Despite the chaos, the expected follow-up attack doesn't happen. The thugs are clearly frustrated, shouting for the action to continue, but the enemy has gone quiet. Our narrator, the tactical analyst tracking Batman, starts to piece it together. He realizes that Batman isn't just reacting, he's controlling the tempo of this war. Witnesses in the city watch in shock as the reality of the situation sets in. This isn't a random riot, it's a calculated strike. More blasts erupt, but these aren't just destructive, they're part of a pattern. The narrator observes the rhythm of the violence, seeing the method behind the madness. We zoom in on those glowing, intense eyes. There's no hesitation here, just pure, singular focus. Batman stands on a rooftop, a lone silhouette against the burning city. He isn't stopping, he is the unstoppable force, the one long advance forward. He is, quite simply, Batman AF. We start with a news broadcast where Mayor Hill is spinning the narrative, using the city's fear of the party animals to attack Mayor Gordon's administration. He's framing Batman's popularity as a sign of total institutional failure. The scene cuts to a stark contrast, a crime scene where the body count is mounting. Hill's rhetoric is sharp, labeling Batman a criminal and using the chaos to justify his own political comeback. The anchor presses Hill on his own corruption scandals, but he pivots perfectly, arguing that in a broken city, people will choose the lesser of two evils, even if that evil is a vigilante. Inside a hospital room, a wounded Commissioner Gordon is clearly fed up with the political circus, ordering Bullock to kill the feed. Bullock updates Gordon on the tactical situation, requesting heavy state support including RVs and medical coverage. Gordon, ever the pragmatist, questions if more firepower is really the answer to Gotham's problems. Bullock is adamant that they didn't bring enough force to the last encounter. He's laser-focused on one objective, taking Batman down and fast. Barbara Gordon pushes back, questioning why the heat is on Batman instead of the actual terrorists, the party animals. Bullock's logic is cold and tactical. He believes the party animals are only escalating their tech and violence because Batman is forcing their hand. Barbara reminds Bullock of the personal stakes. Batman has saved all of their lives, including her father's, multiple times. Bullock isn't buying it. He's convinced Batman is a deep cover plant or a secret partner to the gangs, despite the fact that Batman is the one feeding them intel on gang movements. The argument is cut short as someone, or something, interrupts their heated debate, setting the stage for yet another complication in this war. We shift focus to the human toll of the chaos in Gotham, as a heartfelt embrace between two women underscores the emotional weight of this conflict. One of them, clearly battered and weary, tries to downplay her own condition, but the concern is palpable. The other woman, Martha, isn't buying it. She turns her attention to Babs, noting that the injuries are severe and rest is mandatory. It's a futile hope, though, as everyone knows the stubborn nature of those fighting on the front lines. The tension spikes immediately when Bullock gets a call. The situation is escalating, and he's forced to confront the reality of the threat. The party animals have moved to the Port Authority, forcing an immediate, dangerous response from the GCPD. Back in the quiet of the room, the injured officer is told to rest, though she's already questioning if she even has the luxury of choice. Watching her go, there's a moment of genuine admiration mixed with sadness for the kind of person she's become. This leads to a heavy, reflective moment about the state of the city. The idealism they held in their youth feels like a distant memory compared to the nightmare Gotham has become. It's a somber note to leave on, as the weight of the city's decay hangs over them both. We open on a quiet, intimate moment between Martha and Commissioner Gordon. Martha lights a cigarette, reflecting on the escalating madness in Gotham. Gordon watches her, his expression weary. He notes the irony in her perspective. Martha acknowledges the weight of that comparison. She leans against the window, the city lights behind her, and admits her feelings about the Batman. Gordon reaches out to touch her hand, his affection clear despite the darkness surrounding them. The conversation shifts to the political grind as Gordon admits his campaign is faltering. Martha offers a sharp, grounded perspective on his career. Gordon chuckles softly, the mood turning somber as he drifts back to a traumatic memory. The visual shifts to a stark educational poster about nature. We cut to Gordon's memory of that day, gun drawn in the shadows. He sees nothing but a pile of shadows and movement. The memory explodes into pure, visceral terror as the bats swarm. We pick up with a quiet, somber moment between Martha Wayne and an injured man. She asks how he is, and the response is a blunt, painful admission of uncertainty. Martha reflects on the chasm that has opened between her and her son. She remembers a time when Bruce shared every detail of his life, but that intimacy has completely evaporated. She stands in the doorway of Bruce's room, watching him sit in the dark, isolated and distant. She tries to reach out, mentioning that his friends have called, but it's clear she feels like a stranger in his world. Bruce doesn't even look up. He is focused on a first-place science fair medal, his voice cold and dismissive as he tells her to turn his friends away. Outside, we see those friends waiting on the steps, unaware of the wall Bruce has built around himself. The contrast between their camaraderie and Bruce's self-imposed exile is heartbreaking. Back at home, Bruce's mother tries to coax him out of his shell, begging him to just say hello to his friends waiting outside. Bruce remains isolated in the shadows, holding a small object and clearly struggling to maintain his composure. His patience finally snaps. Bruce lashes out, his face twisted in raw, tear-filled frustration as he screams at her to leave him alone. He retreats further, pulling away from the doorway while his mother watches, clearly heartbroken by his withdrawal. We see the depth of his pain in a tight close-up. He is crying, overwhelmed by the internal pressure he's clearly under. In a moment of impulsive anger, Bruce leans out the window and hurls the object he was clutching into the night air. Down below, a figure in a cap watches the scene unfold from the shadows, suggesting Bruce's isolation is being monitored by someone outside his inner circle. The high-stakes poker game is interrupted when Bruce Wayne finally makes his entrance, leaving the table full of underworld figures stunned by his sudden arrival. Bruce is immediately met with snarky hostility, but he brushes off the heckling from his criminal associates, looking every bit the detached playboy as he takes his seat. Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin, tries to needle Bruce about his professional life, mocking him for supposedly doing desk work for the district attorney. Bruce snaps back with a sharp jab at Two-Face, making it clear he has zero patience for their petty games or their company. As the tension at the table thickens, one of the players demands Bruce shut down the bickering so he can focus on the cards, highlighting just how volatile this gathering really is. We close on a silent, focused beat, emphasizing the cold, calculated atmosphere Bruce has walked into. Bruce is keeping his cool, just tossing in his ante as the game kicks into high gear. The stakes are set. It's 20 to play with 1,700 on the line. These guys are treating this like the biggest score of their lives. One of the players tries to get clever with some math, but he's clearly losing his cool, calling the others heathens when they don't appreciate his pedantic volume calculation. The table talk turns aggressive. Someone tries to mock Bruce's financial standing, offering him a layaway program, a classic jab at Wayne's perceived status. Suddenly things get physical. A quick, sharp walk signals an immediate escalation in the room. Tempers flare instantly. One guy threatens to shove the cubic foot math right where it doesn't belong, and the room is moments away from a full-blown brawl. A voice of reason tries to calm the storm, reminding them they're all here, well, almost all of them. The mood shifts as they wonder about the one person missing from their little gathering. Someone mentions a postcard from Cairo, confirming she's been on the move. Just as the conversation dips, the cards hit the table. It's time to get serious. Bruce keeps his composure, raising the stakes by 20. His opponent is watching him closely, clearly surprised by the shift in Bruce's confidence. The bet jumps to 200. The pressure is mounting and the taunts are flying as they try to rattle him. It all comes down to this. The cards are down, the money is in, and everyone is waiting for Bruce to show his hand. What is he really holding? Bruce drops a disturbing, tech-infused skull onto the poker table, immediately grabbing the attention of Gotham's underworld elite. His companions are baffled and disgusted. Bruce explains he found it while leading a repair crew at City Hall, a cover story that barely masks the danger he's just introduced to the game. The table erupts in protest. They want the macabre object gone, but Bruce insists they look closer at the wiring, hinting that this isn't just a prop. Edward Nygma, the resident geek, takes a closer look and immediately identifies the advanced tech embedded in the skull, specifically a GIS chip. As the group demands an explanation, Bruce breaks down the tech. It's a geographical information system designed to map targets onto a private GPS network. Bruce reveals the true tactical value. If decoded, this device acts as a roadmap for the party animals' next moves, effectively turning their own weapon against them. Nygma is genuinely impressed, noting that the remaining chips are high-end, even by his standards, and he can't help but jab at the others in the room. Before anyone can argue, Bruce snatches the skull back, escalating the tension and making it clear that he's the one in control of this intelligence. Bruce is digging for intel at this high-stakes table, pushing Ozzy for info on the party animal's territorial expansion. Ozzy clearly doesn't appreciate Bruce's line of questioning or the implication that his business dealings are anything but standard. Bruce pivots, but Ozzy isn't buying the act. He warns that the party animals aren't looking for territory. They're agents of pure chaos led by someone named Roman who executes anyone trying to negotiate. Ozzy folds, passing the pressure to Eddie. Eddie is focused on his own hand, waiting for his kings, while Waylon sits on the sidelines. Waylon folds too, throwing a subtle jab at Bruce for being uncharacteristically intense tonight. Bruce turns his attention to Harv, steering the conversation toward the political fallout of this violence and whether it's a calculated strike against Gordon. Harv dismisses the idea that the chaos is just political theater, suggesting there's a deeper, darker motive at play. Bruce challenges Harv's cynicism, pushing him to identify what could possibly outweigh the pursuit of pure power. Harv pauses, the tension at the table thick enough to cut. He reveals his hand, showing he's not just playing cards but playing a game of philosophy. Harv lays it out, it's always about the money, the root of everything. He bets, putting the pressure back on Bruce. Bruce reveals 3 aces, looking to take the pot, but he teases a 4th, implying he's playing with jokers. The mood instantly curdles. The mention of a joker is clearly a taboo at this table, and the reaction is immediate and hostile. Batman stands tall over the city skyline, listening to the informant's heavy intel. The stakes are shifting from simple street-level violence to something much deeper within the political machine. Batman descends, his silhouette framing the vast, dark architecture of Gotham as the conversation turns toward Mayor Hill's suspicious new financial influx. Batman crouches on a ledge, pressing for specifics. The mention of a golden chest points to a massive, hidden operation that even the city's insiders are afraid to touch. Finally, Batman infiltrates a dark, empty office decorated with Hill for Mayor signs. The mystery of the golden chest remains a dangerous, buried secret that everyone is too terrified to expose. Batman stalks into the room, his presence heavy and imposing as he continues his investigation into the city's dark secrets. He meticulously inspects the lock, his tactical precision leaving nothing to chance as he gains entry. Moving into the office space, he surveys the environment, searching for the digital trail that could expose Mayor Hill's corruption. He plugs in a drive, his focus narrowing as he mutters, "Come on, where are you?" searching for the elusive data. As the files begin to decrypt, he connects the dots, realizing the true nature of the golden chest he's been tracking. The realization hits as the screen reveals the folder labeled Arkham, confirming his suspicion that the golden chest is actually an Ark. Batman has finally been cornered and Roman Sionis is making his presence known. Appearing on a massive screen, the party animal's leader greets Batman with chilling, mocking hospitality. Roman clearly finds this hunt amusing, treating Batman like a twisted guest of honor. He offers a cryptic deal, though he's quick to point out that Batman is currently in a very tight spot. Roman reveals the true scale of the trap. He's manipulated the situation so perfectly that the entire GCPD is surrounding the building, effectively cutting off any escape for our lone vigilante. One of Roman's masked henchmen prepares a heavy-duty weapon, aiming it directly at Batman's position. Roman cuts through the pleasantries with a cold, simple ultimatum. The game has begun and the only objective left for Batman is to survive. A massive explosion obliterates the doorway, signaling the start of the assault. Roman stands amidst the chaos, watching the carnage unfold with the calm of a man who owns the night. Batman is immediately engulfed in fire and debris, his silhouette cutting through the inferno. Despite the overwhelming odds and the barrage of incoming fire, Batman remains locked in focus, ready to fight his way out of the trap. Batman is a silhouette against a fiery backdrop, framed within a narrow vertical doorway. He is poised, ready for the next move as the intensity of the confrontation ramps up. He leaps into action, kicking through a structure with explosive force. The debris flies, emphasizing his brutal, uncompromising approach to the threat at hand. Landing in a low, predatory crouch, Batman remains on high alert, his suit and posture radiating pure tactical focus amidst the chaos. He pauses, perhaps catching a glimpse of a screen or an observer, as a voice pleads for a moment of his time. Batman is having none of it. He shuts down the attempt at negotiation, making it clear that he knows exactly who he is dealing with and that these party animals are far more dangerous than they appear on the surface. Batman's mysterious companion pleads for a chance to explain, clearly desperate to form an alliance in the face of the party animal's onslaught. Batman, cold and efficient as ever, gives him a brutal ultimatum, 30 seconds to make his case. The man tries to pivot to logistics, urging them to flee to a safer location and offering his hidden car, but he's clearly out of his depth. We see the silhouette of a vehicle in the dark, the tension mounting as they prepare to move. The man fumbles with the situation, looking visibly shaken by the encroaching danger. A flare or light source ignites, signaling that they're running out of time and cover. Batman reveals his own hand, dropping the man's offer and proving he's already in control, right before he hits the throttle on his own ride. Batman is not playing games anymore. He tears through the chaos in a massive, armored, bat-themed behemoth of a vehicle, absolutely demolishing the GCPD barricade. The sheer force of the impact sends police cruisers flipping through the air like toys, accompanied by a deafening boom that signals Batman's total rejection of being cornered. He's weaponized his presence to turn the tables on those trying to trap him, proving that in this absolute universe, he is the apex predator. After the explosive chaos of the last few moments, Batman is reeling. A voice cuts through the darkness, taunting him with a simple question. Batman realizes exactly who has found him in his moment of vulnerability. It's Selina Kyle appearing like a ghost against the neon skyline. Selina doesn't offer comfort or pleasantries. She's here for a reason, and she's not taking no for an answer. She commands him to get moving, making it clear that their time for debate is over. He's coming with her. Before we wrap up, we get this massive, high-energy splash page teasing the All-In initiative. It's a full roster showcase featuring the entire DC pantheon, from Superman and Batman leading the charge to heavy hitters like Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and The Flash, all set against a cosmic backdrop. It's a clear signal that the stakes are expanding beyond Gotham's borders as these creative teams gear up for a major shift in the DC landscape this fall.